Namaste and welcome back to JEE Mathematics with Typical Monk. This is class 20, Indefinite Integration. Differentiation asked, given a curve, what is its slope? Integration turns that question around. Given a slope, what curve produced it? It is the reverse gear of calculus, and it comes with one quiet warning. The derivative forgets its constant, so integration must always add it back. Today, the antiderivatives, the standard forms, and the three great methods, substitution, by parts, and partial fractions. One idea at a time. Here is what you will learn today. First, antiderivatives and the constant of integration. Second, the standard integrals. Third, integration by substitution. Fourth, integration by parts, the ILATE rule. And fifth, partial fractions plus the drills, one idea at a time. 4 ideas. Run this entire chapter. Look at them together first. The antiderivative. Integration undoes the derivative. The integral of x dash of x dx equals x of x plus a constant c. The constant c, because the integral is a whole family of curves, one for every value of c, you must never forget to add the plus c. The standard forms. The power rule reversed. The integral of x to the n dx equals x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1, and the integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x. And the three methods: substitution, integration by parts, and partial fractions. Now look at the picture. Integration as the inverse operation. Integration is the inverse. Differentiation takes f to f dash, and integration takes f dash back to f plus a constant. It is simply the reverse arrow. The constant of integration. The derivative loses whatever constant f once had, because the slope of a constant is 0, so integration must add it back, plus c. The standard integrals. The power rule run in reverse. The integral of x to the n dx equals x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c for any n except minus 1. And the special case. The integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c, the one power that the power rule cannot handle. Now, the three great methods, the tools you reach for again and again. The ribbon holds them: substitution, by parts, and partial fractions. Substitution. Spot an inner function u whose derivative is also present in the integrand. Let u equal that, convert everything, and integrate. By parts. The integral of u dv equals uv minus the integral of v du, and you choose which function is u by the ILATE order. Partial fractions. Split a rational function into simpler fractions and then integrate each one on its own. And the standard integrals. The integral of dx over bracket x squared plus a squared equals 1 over a times the inverse tan of x over a. Memorize the small handful. Let us work the G favorite, integration by parts. Find the integral of x times e to the x dx. The integral of x e to the x dx are product of two functions, so we use integration by parts. Choose u by ILATE. Here x is algebraic and e to the x is exponential. A comes before e in ILATE, so u equals x and dv equals e to the x d x by r. Differentiate and integrate. Du equals dx and v equals the integral of e to the x dx, which is e to the x. Apply the formula. The integral of u dv equals u v minus the integral of v du, that is x e to the x minus the integral of e to the x dx. Finish. That is x e to the x minus e to the x plus c, which factors to e to the x times bracket x minus 1 plus c. And never forget that constant. Now, the picture behind the choice. The ILATE priority strip. ILATE. It is the order that chooses the first function, u, in integration by parts. The letters: inverse trigonometric, logarithmic, algebraic, trigonometric, and exponential. In that order. First come, first chosen. Whichever function appears earlier in ILATE becomes u, and the other function becomes dv. And why this order? The earlier ones, inverse and logarithmic, simplify beautifully when differentiated, while the later ones, trigonometric and exponential, stay easy to integrate. Now what JEE actually asks. 5 pointers. 1. The standard forms the integral of x to the n dx equals x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c for n not equal to minus 1. The integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c, and the integral of e to the x d equals e to the x plus c. 2. Substitution. Let u be the inner function and convert dx to du before you integrate. 3. By parts, the integral of u dv equals uv minus the integral of v du, and choose u by ILATE. 4. Partial fractions. For a proper rational function, and a repeated factor needs a repeated term. And 5. Always add the plus c. The constant of integration is a mark in its own right. Now a true or false drill. For each claim, decide if it is true, and if it is false, find exactly where it breaks. Claim 1. The integral of e to the x dx equals e to the x. That is false. The exponential is its own integral. Yes, but you must still add the constant e to the x plus c. Claim 2. The integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c. That is true. The special case of the power rule. For the power minus 1. Claim 3. In integration by parts, u is always the exponential function. That is false. U is chosen by ILATE, and the exponential is usually the last to be chosen. Now, match each integral to its result. The integral of x to the n dx goes to x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. The integral of dx over x goes to the natural log of the modulus of x plus c. Integration by parts goes to uv minus the integral of v du. And the first letter of ILATE goes to inverse trigonometric. 4 pairs, each worth committing to memory. Now, how many of these 3 statements are correct? 1. Every indefinite integral carries a constant of integration. That is correct. 2. In integration by parts, the exponential is always chosen as u. That is wrong. U is chosen by ILATE. 3. The integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c. That is correct. So the answer 2 are correct. Statements 1 and 3. The trap is statement 2. U is chosen by ILATE, not always the exponential. Now the 2 mistakes that quietly cost marks. The myth, the constant of integration can simply be dropped. The truth, the antiderivative is a whole family of curves, one for each c, so the plus c is essential, and it is often worth a mark. The second myth, the integral of dx over x is x to the minus 1 plus 1 over 0 by the power rule. The truth, the power rule fails at n equal to minus 1, since that would divide by 0. The integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c, a separate standard result. Now, test yourself. Answer in your head before the reveal. That is how JEE speed is built. Here we go. Question 1. The integral of x squared dx, x cubed over 3 plus c. Question 2. The integral of e to the x dx, e to the x plus c. Question 3. The integral of dx over x, the natural log of the modulus of x plus c. Question 4. The by parts formula, uv minus the integral of v du. And question 5. The first function in ILATE, the inverse trigonometric. Let us gather it all in one breath. Integration undoes differentiation, and always add the plus c. The standard forms, the integral of x to the n dx equals x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c, and the integral of dx over x equals the natural log of the modulus of x plus c. Substitution. Let u be the inner function. by parts, uv minus the integral of v du, and choose u by ILATE. Partial fractions, split a rational function, and integrate each piece. Next class, definite integration, the fundamental theorem of calculus and the king property. Integration is the derivative in reverse, restoring the curve from its slope, always remembering the constant it once dropped. Master the standard forms under 3 methods, and no integrand can hide from you. Sarah, David, Lisa, and John all began exactly where you are sitting now. One idea at a time, you will crack JEE. I will see you in the next class.